Alright, here we go. Clicking going live. Hope you guys are doing well out here. It is Luke with Luke Learns Coding. And today we're going to do some Python practice with some algo challenges. Gonna try out Codewars. A couple of people from my bootcamp wanted to join a clan and do some Codewars together. I haven't used Codewars, I've used other sites like this, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it should be fun. And right now I am just starting out my Python stack. Been doing a bit of my homework, doing pretty much just fundamentals in Python. I've gotten ahead a little bit, so I've started learning classes. I've worked with classes a little bit in other tutorials and stuff, but I'm still trying to get the hang of them. They make sense in my brain, but just actually using them and actually putting them into practice still is going to take some more work for me for sure. But you know, it should be fun. So hopefully these challenges that we're going to be doing here, I don't know, we're going to test out the easy ones and then maybe dive into some harder ones. We're probably only going to go for about a half hour or so. One of the things that they recommended us in class is, hey, always be practicing algos, even if it's just 10, 20, 30 minutes a day. It's going to help you develop and be a better programmer. It's going to keep you in that habit of getting better at solving problems, all those things. So my goal here, even though a lot of you probably don't watch this channel quite yet, is maybe to start streaming here a little bit more, just each day, just some shorter bursts of streams, even if it's 15, 30 minutes, just practicing algos together. So if you want to watch me how I solve them, that will be great. If you want to come up and show me because you're a better programmer than me, I'm happy to admit that. I'm still in bootcamp. You can come, you know, either help me solve them or make fun of me as I struggle with them. I don't care, like whatever you want to do. You know, feel free to just hang out and have some fun. Ash, I see you in the chat, long time follower of the content. Always appreciate when you're here, Ash. Thank you so much. I hope you are doing well. So let me know how you are doing. And let's get this underway. Again, I haven't used Codewars yet, so I don't know if these are going to be too easy. I chose just the easy difficulty for now, but we'll take a look, try to find out if they're too easy, if they're good, if they're bad. And okay, I don't even know how to solve things. Is it just train? Do I hit the train button? From any programming language, provide the functionality of converting a string to uppercase to lowercase. For example, uppercase, yeah, and however, in some special cases, the length of transform string may be longer than the original. Can you find a string that satisfies this? What? This is a challenge? I've never heard of this before. Okay, let's go with a different one. This one seems kind of weird. You're doing good? What you been up to lately, Ash? You just playing some Splatoon? Okay. This site seems a little bit iffy. Is your period late? What? I'm scared to click on that. Yeah, no problems. I appreciate you, Ash. I know who you are, Ash. You're always here. You're always here. You're always on Twitter. I appreciate you. Even if you know nothing about programming or coding, feel free to just kind of lurk, chill out, whatever you want to do. Okay, I thought I chose Python. Can you just... Alright, there we go. I'm just trying to get familiar with the UI of this site, and I gotta say, I don't like it as well as HackerRank or whatever the other one is, Edabit or something like that. Alright, return the nth even number. 1, the first even number is 0. 3, the third even number is 4. Return the nth even number. The input will not be 0. The 100th. Oh, I see what they're saying. Okay, so this number on the left, they want us to grab. Okay, this is the third even number, so you're just iterating by 2. Starting at 0 though, so they're counting 0 as even. Cool. 100, so it should just be, I mean, it's really going to be just double the number minus 2, isn't it? Like, am I thinking of this wrong? I guess we're gonna find out. Ready for Splatfest? Ooh, what's the Splatfest? That sounds fun. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Okay, my code here. So I believe we should just be able to return. Wow, why is this so slow? Is this my computer? Is Codewars just kind of slow? In times 2, -2. Is this gonna work? Test. Passed. Okay, well, that was kind of very simple and stupid. Good job. Okay, submit when ready. I like my code. I don't think I can refactor it anymore. That's pretty dang simple. Alright, it's gonna show us other solutions as well. Some people did 2 times n-1. Yep, same solution as me. Congratulations on completing your first kata. Here are some solutions. What are tips to do what for now? Solutions. Each time you complete a kata, you'll be shown the solution. Next kata. You can move on the next kata by clicking this button on the top right corner. Okay. You randomly select a new kata based off your selected language and training routine. Your active training routing is found on the dashboard page. Train again. If the kata is available in another language that you know are interested. Okay. Cool. Wow, this is incredibly slow. I'm gonna pull up my piece. I mean, it's 75% memory, but I guess I could close out of other tabs, but this doesn't seem like it should be this slow. Alright, so I don't know. The other training site I was using was nice because like it would just be like, hey, is this too easy or too hard? Let me find you one based on what your feedback is. So I don't know if they're gonna give us ones that are extremely hard or extremely easy after this, because we did solve that one pretty quick. Splatfest is Zelda themed? Heck yeah. Dude, I'm so excited for Breath of the Wild 2. Let's go. What are we, like 2 weeks away, I think? 2 weeks is all? You are given an array which will have a length of at least 3 but could be very large, containing integers. The array is either entirely comprised of odd integers or entirely comprised of even integers, except for a single integer in. Write the method that takes the array as an argument and returns this outlier in. Okay. I feel like I should be able to do this pretty easily. We gonna find out. I always feel like I always say it's easy and then it's not. Okay. Containing integers. So basically, if we find that the first integer is even or odd, that will help us to know and look for if in is going to be even or odd, because it's going to be the opposite. So, well, unless in is... Could in be the very first number? Does it say? Okay, so that's not going to work because technically the first integer could be in, it could be the outlier. So if we just check for the first integer, that could throw us off, because what if it's technically it's odd but it's the outlier? Then we're not going to, so so do we need to find... I feel like we need to find 3 different integers. How do we do this? So if we find 3 integers and add these together, so 104 plus 11, so you got 125. That's going to be odd. No, that's not going to work because it depends if we're grabbing in or not. So how do we figure out which one is the outlier? I guess we could for loop them, add them all together. If we add them all together, then based on if that number is odd or even, we should be able to know. So let's say Dude, I don't know. Other games you want to buy? Yeah, that's true. It is going to be an expensive game, that's for sure. 2 plus 4 plus 0 plus 100 plus 4 plus 11 plus 2 is 62 plus 36. So that's an odd number, which we want to find the odd number in that case. So odd for odd. Negative 21. And that's even, which we want to find the even. So I think if we for loop them all, then we're going to know if that number is even, then we're going to look for the even. If that number is odd, we're going to look for the odd. So, wow, this is incredible. Like, why is this incredibly slow? You know what? I think I'm going to do it in VS Code and then just copy and paste, because this is going to, it's going to annoy me if we're going to be going that slow all the time. So let me create a new folder, Codewars. And we will just create a test dot problem dot py. Sure. If anyone ever is using this site and you can tell me why it's so laggy, that'd be great. But for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like the rest of my computer is as slow. It's literally just Hacker or Codewars. I keep calling it HackerRank because that's what I was using earlier. Okay. Everyone can still see that in stream. $30 to get Zelda Splatfest T. Nice. You could have just saved that and bought half the game. The t-shirt's pretty cool though, I bet. That is pretty fun. Okay, so for I in wait, we do need our function. What did they call the function? I want to make sure we're grabbing the same thing. Jeez, okay. It's gonna drive me crazy. Okay. So we want to iterate through for I in range of 0 to length of integers, because integers is our list. That's what we're getting inside of here. So what we can do is actually run a test case with one of these arrays here. So basically we're going to import a list into our function here, integers. Then we're going to loop through. So for each of these, we're going to take this and add it together into one sum. So we'll start with the sum of 0. We're going to loop through starting from the first index, which is 0. Hit up each one of these and add them plus equals the integer array I. Because I is going to give us, it's going to start out with a 0, then a 1, then a 2, then a 3. So it's going to do a sum plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this. I'll go all the way through the list. And then let's just print this. Not in the loop, sorry. Let's just print sum just to make sure we're getting the number that we want. We're going to run this 2759. Which, as we remember, that's what we got before. And that means we want to find an odd number here. So that's going to help us. Let's do this with the other array. Just give it another test case to make sure we are indeed doing this right. Jeff, what's up? Why not for I in integers? Oh, does that work? I can't remember. Let's try that. Because I'm still very not used to Python loops. I'm not gonna lie. My brain still very much wants to do loops in JavaScript. So, because that just gives us each number, right? Print I. Because we aren't, I think the reason it works, tell me if I'm getting this, guys, Jeff and Luke, now that you guys are here and you guys are smart. Because we're not actually needing to change the list, yeah, it's just going to print out each number for us. So you guys are right. For I in integers, sum plus equals I. Let's just make sure we're getting the same thing. I'm so glad you guys are here now to tell me what to do. Yes, okay. Yes, so we need to use the range when we actually want to change the original list. But since we're not changing the original list, I think this works just dandy. Now we need to find the odd guy out. So basically, this first list here, because there is one odd number, it's going to give us an odd number back. So if some modulo 2 is 0, which means this is now going to be an even number. So we're checking if the sum of all these numbers is even, which if it is, we want to iterate through the list and check if that number is even. Right? I don't know. All right. I feel like I could combine these loops here and refactor this, maybe, but let's just start off with getting it working in the first place. And then I'm going to look at chat because I feel like you guys are going to give me answers. I want to do it first like this for I and integers. Yeah, I feel like this could be better, but I'm gonna ignore you guys for a second. I'm gonna ignore you guys for a second. For I and integers again. So yeah, so we want to now, if I is even again. Wait, which one gives us an even? Yeah, if I is even again. 2 equals 0. Let's just print I for now, but we eventually want to return it. I just want to see 160. Okay, so we got the right answer. And then we would just go else if basically we would just copy paste this, which I know I probably shouldn't be doing this. Probably a better way to do this. If I module 2 does not equal, then we're going to print I. So we got 11, which we're trying to find the odd number in this list, and we got the even number in this list. So technically this is working, but now I'm going to look at chat and see if you guys are smarter than me. I'm going to zoom in on my code too. Does that help you guys see it a little bit better? I don't think you need sum equals 0 if it defaults to 0 if you do plus equals. Where? Module 2 plus in the if statement, or what are you talking about? I think you just check the first 3 items array is always 3, and if 2 are even, then you know it's even. I'm trying to think of what you're saying there, Jeff. So you guys might have missed it. Maybe I'm understanding you wrong. But the challenge is you're given an array. The array is entirely odd or entirely even, except for a single number. So you're supposed to find the outlier. So like in this list, we're trying to check and find the number 11 because that's the only odd one. This list is all odd except for the number 160. So basically in my code, the way I solved it, and maybe you guys can help me refactor it here. We're taking into this function, we're taking in the array integers. We're starting with the sum of 0 because if the sum of all these numbers is, let's go back, odd, then we know that there is one odd number because all even numbers should amount to a sum of an even number except for the one odd number is making it odd. So then we know to check for, okay, well, if it is all odd, then we just want to check to see and find the number that is not even. You know, module 2 doesn't equal 0, print I. Now in this list, goes back in here, we want to check, okay, the sum is now even, 1904. Can you guys see that? Okay, cool. 1904. So the sum is now indeed even, which is the module 2 equals 0. And then we're going to loop through that and find the one integer that is indeed even and print that out. Line 11, I was saying I don't need a line 11. You think it'll automatically go for me there? Let's try it. Well, I gotta, oh, you're saying I just gotta define and just do sum or sum equals? How do I do an undefined variable in. I don't think you need sum. I think it defaults to 0 if you do plus equal. Oh, plus equals. No, it's giving me an error. Test with a list of 5 items. 4 odds is even, plus even is still even. Test with a list of 5 items. Well, we don't know how long the list is going to be. It could just be a list of 3. So what I originally was thinking is just look at the first number and see if that one is odd and even. The problem is n could be anywhere. It doesn't specify. N could be the outlier on the first exact number. It could be the last number. So that's why I feel like you kind of have to check through all of them. I could be wrong. But let's submit it. Let's see what other people did. We know this at least works. Well, I didn't return anything, so we're going to have to change that. This dang thing is so slow. I don't know why this site is so slow. Makes me not like Codewars. We're just going to return I here, actually, so we don't even need that return statement at the bottom. Like, why is this typing... Like, do you guys see this right now? How could anyone work like this? Okay, so there shouldn't be a case. Let's test this. I was wrong. Don't mind me. Hey, I'm all for suggestions and trying stuff. I'm just learning myself, so don't be afraid to throw stuff out here. I mean, I'm gonna be the one looking like the fool the most. What? Test passed, but why was there test cases that didn't pass? That's really confusing. I passed 28 and failed 7. Okay, so maybe we need the return none for the one exit code. I don't know why the other ones aren't. So let's just return none in case that does help us get rid of the exit code at least. I passed all 3 tests. I think that's what happened last time. Okay, so that took one of the failures away. Okay, they're testing with such freaking large numbers, I can't even tell what's going on. Okay, I can copy paste this. So let's see in VS Code where it's a little bit faster. What is going on here? So let's run it in our own code. What the heck? Why am I printing out every single number? How am I? Wait, what? Is the negative number screwing things up? Why? Like it's literally just printing every number here. Okay, so we obviously screwed up something real bad. Works on some lists, but not on all. That's what I meant. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I wouldn't know how to do it for a larger list. Okay. Are these numbers just too big for Python to handle? Because I know in some languages, right, you need a big int thing. I don't know if that's a real thing in Python. Let's try printing some. Let's see. 2 million. So it's an odd number. So if it's an odd number. Oh, because I'm printing. Wait. So if it's an odd number, we shouldn't be going into this if statement at all. So let's just check to make sure we're not going in. Let's just print high. Okay. So we're not going into this statement, so that's a good sign. Let's just double check. I'm pretty sure we're going into this statement, but Okay. So we printed the sum, we printed high. So we're going into this else statement. Is it just too big of a number for it to check if it's... Or can it not check if it's divisible on a No, it should be able to do module 2. What the heck, guys? What the heck? Okay. Let's do... I don't understand. Print module 2. Should come back 0, right? So what is going on? Okay. Guys, help me. Wait a minute. So the sum is coming negative. How is the sum coming up negative when we are looking for, or not negative? How is this coming up odd when we should be coming out even? Where is the even number? See, I told you this is gonna be easy, and then of course it's not. Okay, there's the one even number. So if there's one even number and you're adding up all the odd numbers, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 3, oops, plus 4. No, what did I just do? 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 9. And then I'm adding one even number to it. What am I? I'm like so twisted around now. This comes out odd. Okay, clear. 4 plus 6 plus 4. Wait, do they both come out odd? Am I doing this wrong this whole time? Alright, let's backtrack. Let's backtrack to what we had. Print the sum. Oh, not there, I was gonna say. Print the sum. Okay, now what? Built-in function sum. There we go. Okay, so this big list full of even numbers and one odd number is giving me an odd number. This list, okay, maybe if there's a certain amount of odd numbers, my thing just doesn't work. Because an odd plus an odd is an even, and then you add an even together, and you're going to get 8. Whereas if you add, that's going to be my issue, yeah. Because if you add only 3 odd numbers, and you add an even number, then you're still going to get an odd number. Right? Isn't that what I just said? So my whole theory is wrong. Okay. My whole theory is wrong because it depends on how many odd numbers you put out there. So that's why we were getting all the numbers back, because we should have been in that case. Let's bring that case back. In this case, we should have been checking for an even number, and we were checking for an odd number. I think that's our big issue. Yeah, because it's going into the odd statement and printing them all out, even though we were supposed to be looking for an even statement in that case. So let's just start. We don't need this giant list. This is going to make it a little bit more complex. So let's just do like 3, 5, And basically we actually just want this list, I think. But we want one extra odd number, and I think that's going to throw us off again. Yep. Oh, my life. So it works for these two cases, but it did not work for when there's an odd amount of odds, or I don't even know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boo! Okay, I thought I had the answer. So, we could check for how many numbers are in the list. And that would add an extra step to our program, making it bigger, but it would work. That way we could check on how many, but then I feel like there's got to be a better way. So if it doesn't equal 0, okay, we're summing up all the numbers. Is there a better way to find out if there's only one odd number? We could append all of the items into a new list and see how many of them are even and how many of them are odd. And there should only be... Oh, and then we could just return the number of that array. Right? And then we just don't even need to check if the whole sum thing is working. I'm just trying to think out loud if there's a better way to do that. But what I'm thinking is, if you create an array that's in even numbers and one that has a list of odd numbers, you just check, okay, is this number even? If not, pop it out into the new list. And then if the list length equals 1, then that's your answer. Right? So, could you just sum the first 3 items the way you started with, but use 3 instead of length? So what you're saying is, okay, 2 plus 4 plus 0 is 4. That means we would be checking for, it's an even number, we would check for an odd number. But the problem is, what if 11's here instead of over here? You're probably saying something good, Jeff. I'm just not wrapping my mind around it, because I don't know, like, if in is within the first 3 numbers versus not, how that affects things. But I feel like you're on a good track. I'm just, my brain is in a different wavelength right now. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. So let's go even nums. Let's just leave this as an empty array. Odd nums equals empty array. For num in integers, if num is we're still going to check if it's even with modulo. So we're checking with this. If it equals 0, then it's going to be even. And then I got to remember how to do, is it append num? Let's just make sure I did that right. Let's go ahead and print even nums. Let's get rid of our first. Let's just work with one test case for now. So that gave me all the even numbers. So I think I did that right. And else, we don't really need to check for it's odd, because there's no way, if If it's not even, then it's already odd, right? So then we just go odd nums.append. Same thing, num. Let's just print to the console just to make sure we got things going right. 11. Okay. So we don't need to print. We just need to return. And what we want to return is... well, we're going to need to check an if statement. So if length of even nums equals 0, or sorry, equals 1, it means the only even number, then we want to return even nums, but I think they're going to want us to return the actual number, not the array. So let's try to print the function, and else, again, kind of same thing. If it is not even, or sorry, if even numbers has more than 1, then we know the odd numbers is already going to have 1. So let's just return odd nums and the first item because it only has one item. And then if we print, we get 11. Okay. Okay. This is exciting. Oh, and we broke it. Find outlier is not defined. It is defined. We're not printing it. What? Why is it saying it's not defined? Alright, let's try printing it. Does it... okay, that was a weird error. I don't know what that was. Okay, 11. We got that. We got the 160, which is... and we should get 160 again, which we weren't the time before. Okay. So I think this works. I think you need to check mod on the first 3, but this is more advanced than the basics I'm doing. Yeah. That's how I feel too. I'm like, there's probably way better ways to do this, but with the knowledge that I know and I'm limited to currently, this is the way I'm going to try it. All right. So let's test this again. Pass 3. That's what we did last time. But when we hit attempt, we had test cases that were failing. All right. 35 pass, 0 failed. Woo! We solved it. All we had to do was create a list that's going to store our even numbers versus our odd numbers. Then we're going to check each number in the original integers list. If it is even, we're going to add it to the even nums list. If it is odd, then we're going to throw it into the odd numbers list. Then, because there is going to be only one even number or only one odd number, that's the number we're going to want to return. So we're just going to check if the length, hey, if even numbers only has one number, bada bing, bada boom, that was the outlier, let's return it. If not, then we obviously know if even numbers has more than one number in it, then the outlier has to be an odd number, so we just return that. And submit. Let's see how other people solved it, because that was, that turned out to be harder than I originally thought it was going to be. But I think it's because I started making it more complicated in the first place. So I'm kind of glad we got to go back through and solve it in a different way. Alright, I'm going to assume most of these people probably do things that are going to be outside my brain, but let's see if we can... let's see if you guys can see their solutions, if I zoom in a little bit more. So find outlier, odds equals x for x in int if x... so let's see, x for, so they're just doing a for loop inside the list itself. Didn't know you could do that. It's kind of cool. So they're saying whatever the number is. What number? Okay. Are they, does the x be on this? Is this like a shortcut saying like x is going to equal for whatever this for loop is from the number in integers? If x isn't equal to 2, then they store it? Is that... I'm not sure on that syntax. But similar idea, they're creating two different arrays, returning odd, and then if not, else. So same idea to how I solved it, just a little bit more condensed syntax that I'm not fully understanding. You know what we could do though? This is the fun part for me to use ChatGPT to try to understand it. And ask it to break down the Python syntax. Let's see what it tells us. Certainly, I'd be happy to break it down for you. ChatGPT is always so nice. Okay, I understand the function. I guess I should have just only put in the list. This line creates a list called odds that contains all the odd numbers. Yeah, we already know that. It does this using a list comprehension, which is a concise way of creating a list in Python. The list comprehension iterates over every element x in int and only includes it in odds if x is not equal to 2, meaning that x is odd. Okay. Yeah, same thing with this number. What is the first x before the for loop starts? That's the part I don't really understand. Does it just mean it's going to store it there? The first x before the for loop represents the value that will be included in the resulting list for each iteration of the loop. There we go. Okay, so essentially I was guessing correctly. All right. I think we get it, ChatGPT. Thank you. Parity equals in is great. Module 2 for in integers, return integers. Hey, this is my pretty much exact same one. Jeez, the shorthand syntax of some of these people. Okay, well, I think we solved it pretty good. Let's see the next one they give us, if it's gonna be. Let's see how much time we have to see if we want to solve it or not. I need to do some other actual like homework today, and some other things around the house. So, and I got class this evening. What are you guys up to today though? Anything fun? Jeff, Luke, Ash? Write a function persistence that takes in the positive parameter num and returns its multiplicative persistence, which is the number of times you must multiply the digits in num until you reach a single digit. What? Which is the number of times you must multiply the digits in num until you reach a single digit. 39 is 3 because 3 times 9 equals 27. 2 times 7 is 14. 1 times 4 is 4. I see. Well, that's kind of whack. Is persistence like a... I've never really heard of that before. I don't know what that would be used for, but I feel like it shouldn't be incredibly hard. Well, it's going to need a lot of loops because you're going to need to know how to loop through consistently until you get to the point where it's to a single digit. So, heck, why not? Let's try one more. If it takes too long, we can always take a break and come back to it. I got to build up my Caillou points? Is that what it is? What is kata points here in Codewars? Gotta get my guild some points. Okay, so here is the function they want us, and let's copy and paste the actual problem here. Comment that out so we can just read it. Don't need your code. We know what a code does. Okay, so let's work with the smallest test case first. Print persistence of 39. Okay, so let's think about this for a second. we're going to need to check if in each digit of n multiplied together is less than 10, because that's going to mean it's a single digit. If it's not, we are going to have to again do the step before and check if it's less than 10. So I don't know if this would be a good chance to use recursion. I haven't had hardly any experience with recursion. I mean, it could just be simple as a loop as well. But I feel like recursion could be good because it's like we're literally doing the same thing pretty much each and every time, right? Or we could just use a while loop. I don't know. What do you guys think? There's a few ways I feel like we could do this. Let's just try recursion for fun. I don't even know if I know how to really do it that well, but or if this is a good use case for it. But it'll be fun to kind of practice and try something new, right? So first of all, we need to get every digit of n, which can we iterate over in Python? I know we can for strings. Can we? I actually don't know if is that a thing? For digit in n? Print digit. I have no idea, dude, if this is... Let's just call it without printing. I don't think that works, does it? Int object is not iterable. Well, I guess we could turn n into a string. N equals star n. And now let's run it. Okay, so now we get each digit. Then we'd have to turn them back into an integer. That seems kind of a weird... Is there a way to iterate over each digit in an int in Python? Let's see. I'm not going to cheat and look up the answer, but I just want to know if there's a way to actually iterate over it. Okay, so no, they want us to convert it into a string as well. Okay. Which seems kind of goofy. Like, we're turning it into a string and now we're going to have to turn it back into... You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So let's try this. So if total is 0. Wait. We can't set total to 0. We're going to set... Because we can't multiply by 0. So we can set total to the first. Since now we turned it into a string. That's going to be 3, right? Let's just print total to make sure we're okay there. And okay, so we did get 3 for total. But because we're already setting that, we don't want to... we don't want to actually iterate over the first digit now, though. Okay. I mean, we could do an I in range, I guess, for Is there a way to just skip over the first iteration of digit? I mean, num in range. Let's just go range. Zero to, oh no, because we want to start at 1. We want to skip the first iteration since we already set total to n of 0. Then length of n. So let's just print each num. Wait. In num? I'm probably making this more confusing. Okay, so we did get the 9. So we already set total to 3. We're now grabbing in of number, which is going to start at iteration 1, which since n is a list of 39, iteration 1 is going to be the 9. So what is it? Is it no. Yeah, I just set it int like that. Yeah. Okay. Int total. Int. We're gonna need to set total to be equal of int total times int of num. No. In num. Right? Print total. 27. Because 3 times 9 is 27. So we got that far. We know we got that far. All right, well. Cool. So if total, here we go. I think we got the recursion going now. If total is greater than or equal to 10, because it's not a single digit at that point. Let's see, it does tell us it's a positive number, right? Okay, so we don't need to check for if it goes negative, because if it's passing in a positive number only, we should never be able to get a negative, because a positive times a positive is always going to be a positive. So if the total is greater than 10, then we still need to run this function, which means we need to call persistence again and pass in our new total that we've created here through this for loop. Right? Before this though, let's I do want to check it with one more test case. I want to make sure that if we're using 3 digits like they have here in 9999, that this is also working. So I don't want to go too deep until we check another test case with actually 3 numbers. So 729, which is what they got to. Okay, cool. Just wanted to double check. So 3 times 9 is 27. That's our new total. That's what we're going to pass into persistence, which is going to do recursion. It's going to call itself. And it's going to have now 27. It's going to do the same thing. 2 times 7 is 14. Still greater than 10. It's going to call itself. 1 times 4 is 4. Then we would need to know, okay, if it's not greater than 10, then we want to actually stop it, because if we don't have a way to stop the recursion, we're going to die. If I spell return, that would be better. Return total. Okay. So let's try this with our first test case here first. We're going to exit out that guy, comment him out. Persistence not defined. Huh? I just commented that out. Why is that? Line 1. Like it's saying persistence 999. I have it commented out. Let's just, okay. None. My answer is none. That's not a great sign. Oh wait, we didn't need to return the total though. Why is it giving me none though? It shouldn't be giving me none, so we're not doing it right. Let's print the total each time and see if we're going wrong. I know we don't need to return the total anyways. 27. Oh, I think what's happening is that it's... So I think it's calling itself recursion one too many times, because we got 27, 14. Once we hit total is 4, we should be exiting out already. But it looks like it's taking the 4, setting that as the total, then trying to iterate, which doesn't work because it's only a list of 1. Okay. So this is gonna be fun. Okay, so what do we just need to check? So print total is 4. Why is it running again if total is greater than 10? So it's iterating through total equals 27, print 27. It's going to be, okay, total, call it again, blah, blah, blah. Total is now 14, blah, 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 1 times 4. Total equals 1 times 4, print total is 14. Oh. So the print, no. Ah, okay, 27. 27 is greater than 10. It's going to come back up here. 27, 2 times 7 is 14. 14 is greater than 10, so it needs to do it one more time. Total, 14. 1 times 4 is 4. Print total is 4. I don't know why... it's not returning the 4. I don't need to return the 4, but I'm still just trying to figure out why it's not returning 4. I mean, we could try... Let's see. This is not the way I should do it. But I'm just trying to figure out... Oops. Oh, I didn't put anything here. I'm just trying to see if I wrote my statements wrong. Nope, still giving me none. I guess we could check it up here anyways, because what if the number is passed through, starts with only 1 digit? So if I'm returning an integer anyway, so we can, before we should even turn n into an integer, we should check if n is less than 10, we should return n. None. Okay, so that worked. I don't know if my brain is working anymore. We got this. We got this. Print total. And we're still back in the same spot. So what I don't understand is, okay, if we're printing 27, so we've got 27, n is not less than 27. So we're going to convert it into a string, 27. Total. The first one is 2. Then we're going to iterate in the second index, or the first index, second number. So 2 times 7 is 14, which is our new total. That's why we're printing 14. Total is greater than 10. Yes. 14 is now being in. If n is greater, n is greater than 10, 14, so we need to do it again. N is now a string of 14. Index that is 1. Second index is 1 times 4. Total is 4. And then we're gonna print 4. Oh, and then the total is not greater than 10. So if we're gonna put the n is greater than 0, I think we can just put recursion here, and then we're giving our break statement up here instead. It's still giving us a none. Because if total is 4 here, what I'm not understanding is why when I call it to n, if n is less than 10, which 4 is less than 10, return n. Am I not returning it as a type, as an int? Is this still a string somehow? I'm multiplying int by int, so you would think it's an int. It's an integer, so it's not that. Four. Okay, well, let's just print in each time. 27, 14, 4, 4. So if n is 4, well, why aren't we going into n is less than 10? Print why no go here. We did go here. So why are we returning none? Because at this point, n should still be... N is still 4, and then we're returning 4, or we're returning n. Return pizza. Why aren't we returning? We're in this statement. What? We're literally in this if statement, then we have a return. I am bamboozled. Return 300. It's a good movie. What? I'm actually just now dumbstruck. We are in this if statement. We just print in real quick. Return. Why is it not returning? Why is it returning none? Is it because I'm using recursion? Is that... Maybe it's because I'm using recursion. There's something with recursion I'm not understanding. Like, is it returning 300, but it's not returning because it's recursive? I don't know. Let's ask ChatGPT. I think it must be because I'm using recursion. That's like, I just... Okay, I'm not returning a value from the recursive call to the last line of the function. So I knew it. I knew I didn't understand recursion. Wait, don't give me the answer. Function is returning nuns because you're not returning a value from the recursive call to persistence on the last line of the function. When persistence is called with a greater value equal to 10, it enters the if block and performs some calculations, but then it calls itself recursively with the total value. The problem is that this recursive call does not return anything, so the value returned by persistence is none. You need to modify the last line of the function to return the result of the recursive call to persistence. But that's how I had it earlier. I swear that's what I was trying to do earlier. If n is less than 10, or no, if n is greater than 10, else return n. Line 18. Oh, not n, if total. Still getting none. Does not return the result of the recursive call. So just what is it doing that I'm not doing? The function should now, okay. When the function is recursively called with a value greater than 10, it does not return the result of the recursive call. Oh, so I'm calling the function. Okay, now I'm understanding the problem with my recursion. I think what it's trying to tell me here is that yes, I'm calling the function again and it's recursively going deeper, 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 but it's never returning that. So when it comes back out of the recursion, it has no value. So if we add return, then there we go, we're actually returning something. So when I use recursion, I have to continually return it. Or if I'm not, then I'm left with no value. I think that's what it's trying to tell me. I think I'm getting it. Does not return the value of the recursive call. Okay, the funny thing is I did all that and we still don't even have the answer. We found we found how many. So I don't know if with recursion, if this is... if I set a variable with recursion, that's not gonna work. I should just not have used recursion. Okay. Amount equals 0. If I actually don't know if this is gonna work, but it's kind of fun to experiment. I probably could have solved this a lot faster if I just used loops and see, that's what I was worried about. It's not actually going to set the amount, because every time it's going to be called, the amount's going to equal 0. could I potentially, instead of, could I return the amount number? Return amount, sorry. 1. So that didn't work. Amount plus equals 1. So it did give us the amount 1, but I think because I'm setting back, every time I do it recursively, I'm setting the amount back to 0, so that's not really help. Where do I get these challenges? Right now I'm doing Codewars because we're doing like a little guild on it, so I guess we can work together on certain things. But personally, I liked, what was it called? Edabit better, I think is what it is. Because it just seemed to work faster and it gave me challenges up and down based on my feedback. So I liked Edabit. I know there's like Leak Code, there's Hacker Rank, stuff like that. There's plenty of these challenge sites. But like Codewars just, I don't know why it is so slow, but it's seeming like super slow. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna, I mean, I could set amount outside of this, but I don't know if the challenge is gonna let me do that. I think it has to all be within the function. Amount cannot access local variable. Global? Or do I need to set global? Because I'm not going to be passing in the amount, so oops, amount. Yeah. I think my recursion brain is hurting. Yeah. So let's just solve it without recursion, and then maybe I'll ask or see if other people did it with recursion just for fun. Because what I was getting before was correct in a sense. As far as like where you're getting each number, 39 turns to 27, which turns to 14, which turns to 4. But I don't think we even really need the recursion. But I think we can use pretty much, let's just pass for a second. Okay, so let's count the amount of times it needs to be multiplied. 1, 2, 3 times, and it has 1 digit. So we're going to start with the 0 amount. We're going to take in. We're still going to convert it to a string. We're going to take the total multiplier. Let's just set it to the first digit of in for now. Then we're now going to convert the total into a new integer. Oops. Using the for loop to multiply all the digits to one another. Then, outside of that loop, because we only want to do it once per time, we're going to increase the amount. Oh, shoot. So, we're good because we're not using recursion. This shouldn't be called again. Amount plus 1. Wait a minute. No, because we need to check in the if statement before this. So if how do we do this? How do we do this? How do we do this now? if n is greater than 10, greater than or equal to 10, we're going to need nested for loops, are we? So if n is greater than 10, we're going to do the same thing and make the total a new total. But the problem is we'd have to continually do that, continually check if n is still greater than 10. So I think we do need a while loop because we don't know how many times. So let's do, instead of if, oh, whoa, I don't not mean to do whatever I just did. While n is greater than 10. That way it's going to keep checking this while loop. And then we're going to use a for loop inside the while loop to check for the total. Right? Or do we want total instead of n? Because we want to check if the total... No, but then we can't set total to here, though. Do we just move it down a line? Alright, so let's think through. 39. We don't need to print it anymore. We know, and we're not doing the recursive thing. I think all of this needs to be in a while loop, actually. Well, how do we know if total... So we do need to check to see if total... Okay. Let's get rid of total while n is greater than 10. So we're going to have 39 as an input while 39 is greater than 10, which is true. Then we need to now make n into a string so we can iterate over it. Stir of n. Total. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take the total, which is the first integer of n, which is 39. So this is going to be 3 in our first case. And then we're going to take the 3 and we're going to multiply it by the next integer, which in this case is only 9. So 3 times 9 is 27. So then we need to take the amount and plus add. I plussed it by 1. And then we need to now again check if n is still greater than 10. So we're going to set n equal to the total, which should be the integer. So let's just see if this was right. 39 comes in here. Greater than 10, yes. Turn it into a string. So the first part of that string is 3. Then we're going to go through each other digit. In this case, only 2 digits, so 3 times 9 is 27. The amount is now at 1. And then I put m, not n. Now n is going to equal that total, which was 27 from this for loop. Which means we go back up here. N is 27, which is greater than 10. It's now a string. 2 times 7 is 14. Amount now becomes 2. 14 is equal to the total. Or n is now equal to the total, which is 14. Do that again. Okay. So I think we are good. We need to get rid of this amount and just return amount. So let's start here. 3. Did I just solve it? See how much easier it was without recursion? Now watch this. Now it's going to have an error. Fingers crossed. No. 4. Okay. Okay. Now, we didn't solve for the test case of 4, though. Like, if it only comes in as 1 digit. 0. Oh, that still worked. Because n was not greater than 10. So we did, yeah. I think this is solved. Please tell me I don't want to have to do this again. Passed 4, failed 0, attempt. Passed 55, failed 0. Let's go! Woo! This should not have been that hard. Let's see if anyone does it with... No, they did a while loop, while loop. I feel like I was so close with recursion. No one else was using recursion. Wow, this has some really, really short code. Map, res, blah, blah. Persistence, join, lambda function here. Man, some of these people are nutty. Okay, what I want to do now... Well, okay, we solved it, so that's cool. Do this with recursion in Python. I'm only doing this because I already came up with an answer, but I just wanted to see how close I was with recursion. If num is greater than 10, return 0, else product equals 1. See, what I couldn't figure out was how to get the amount. Like, I could figure out the recursion, but I couldn't figure out how to keep the amount to actually not be reset each time. So they put actually the product. Okay, let me see if I can see what ChatGPT is doing. Numbers less than 10, return 0. Yes, that's the first, if it's a single digit. If not, product is set to 1 for digit and string. For digit and string number. Oh, product multiply into digit. Oh, that's a little shortcut for what we're doing with the string. So product is multiplied by each digit. And then you're going to return 1 plus the recursion. So returning 1. But then how is this continually added together? Okay. The persistent function takes positive integer num as input and returns the multiplicative persistence. The function first checks whether the num is a single digit number. If it is, yeah, we already know that. If number is not a single digit, the function calculates products of its digits using a for loop. That's what we did. Then recursively calls itself with the product as the input and adds 1 to the result of the recursive call. The base case of recursion occurs when the product is a single digit number, at which point the function returns 1, since 1 multiplication step was needed to reduce single digit. So it would output 3 since it takes 3 multiplicative steps to reduce 39. So when you return the 1 plus persistence, it keeps track. It keeps adding 1 to the return each time there is recursion. I'm trying to understand how this returning a 1, like every time it returns, it must just add 1 to 2 to 3, like. It's just returning each recursion and adding them together. Yes, that's correct. Each time the function calls itself recursively, it adds 1 to the result of a recursive call. This is how the function keeps track of the number of multiplicative steps it has taken to reduce the input number to a single digit. Okay, the recursive call returns 1 plus 27, which adds 1 to the number of steps. Call then returns 1 plus 14. At this point, the base case of recursion is reached since 4 returns 1. Each time the function adds 1 to the result of the recursive call, which ultimately gives us the number of multiplicative steps. So, you need to store the plus 1 to a variable. It's like the recursive function like actually just is a variable itself. It's like storing the amounts. Keeps track of the number of steps needed. When the base case of recursion is reached, the function returns the number of steps taken to reduce the input number. 1. Since the function returns the result of the recursive call plus 1, there is no need to store the plus 1 in a separate variable before returning it. Alright, so I think I'm understanding, like, every time it's called, we get 1, plus we're going to go into recursion again, get 2, we're going to go into recursion again, get 3, and then in the third case of recursion, once we have the number 4, we're going to return 0. So it doesn't return 0 as far as the first time we call persistence. It's returning 0 only in the case of it being recursive in the third time or fourth time that it calls it. So it's like 1, 2, 3, return 0, but we still have the 3 steps from before. I think that's how recursion works, but I'm not. I don't know if I'm fully wrapping my brain around it. But I think I'm going to stop there. I went way longer than I was expecting to. I got to do some other homework and chores today. But it was good. It was a good start to Codewars. I'm not sure I'm in love with this site, but it's fun that we can now go to our social and we can go to our followers, our little clan. How do I actually see our clan? I don't know. I'm going to have to mess around with Codewars a little bit more, but we're almost to the next rank, guys. We're almost to the next rank. So that's pretty sick. So there's practice, there's freestyle sparring, take turns remixing and refactoring others' codes. That's kind of fun. There's leaderboards. I don't know how to see our actual clan's leaderboard, but either way, kind of fun. Anyways, Luke, thanks for being here. Jeff and Ash, thanks for chatting for a bit. Hope you guys have a great day. You did better than I would. Well, I don't know. Well, maybe we'll have to do some of these together. We'll bring you on stream and do them together. We'll just bounce ideas off each other. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to peace out. Have a great day, guys. Hope you're doing well. It was fun doing some coding together, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.